Hi, my name's Matt. I'm a chiropractor and I've been in practice for as long as Camilla has, with very similar background in terms of training after graduating as a chiropractor. I've run my own practices too, and I'm going to be looking after the practice and all of Camilla's patients while she's away on maternity leave. And she's asked me to record a short clip for you with some information about myself and some advice, so you can get to know me a little bit more before you come and see me in the practice. So first of all, I look at things very holistically, as Camilla does. I look at things in terms of how your body functions and neurologically from a chiropractic perspective. And I've also done lots of postgraduate training in terms of nutrition. I'm a trained herbalist. I also do a lot of neuroemotional work, so helping people release patterns that might cause tension within the body that are coming from a current or past emotional state, or a worry about the future. And so I just wanted to discuss a little bit about all of those facets of how we practice at Sheen Chiropractic, and how many chiropractors around the world practice very holistically, and how that really relates to helping you with your overall health and well-being. And I guess that boils down to looking at what is causing these problems, and this is the topic of a book I'm actually writing, which is due out the early part of next year. And the fundamental buzzword is stress. Everyone knows about stress and experiences stress. But the key factor is what actually constitutes stress. Most people understand stress in terms of mental load. So basically what they need to do at work, or traffic jams, etc. Stress is so much more than that. And so what I would actually like you to do with you is take you on a whistle-stop tour of our stress in terms of anthropology, in terms of where it comes from our genetic makeup as we have evolved, and how that relates to your chiropractic sessions, where Camilla might be 1 minute testing you nutritionally, the next minute talking to you about perhaps deep emotional patterns that are reoccurring, that re-manifest in your life in terms of perhaps the reasons you come to her, or perhaps even reasons unconnected. And so it boils down to right back in our caveman times. The stress response developed as we evolved as an organism to protect us. So first of all, we worked purely on instinct, as a lot of animals still do. And we started to develop from that into an emotional state. So our nervous system could create an emotion that would then cause the physiology to react. So we could kind of predict. We're starting to get ready for a situation. Fear is a good example. And what happens on a biochemical level is, if you imagine walking out of Camilla's practice and a tiger or a lion suddenly appears in the road, the first thing that happens is your alertness it becomes razor sharp. The hormones are rushing around your body, adrenaline, cortisol, hormones that people are probably familiar with, and you have three options: fight, flight, or freeze. So let's assume you're not going to freeze, and you're probably not going to try and fight the lion, so you're running away from this lion. And all of the physiology in your body is geared up to allow you to run away from this lion. Your heart rate goes up, your heart beats faster, blood is redirected from places like your digestive system, reproductive system, things that aren't important at the time, and redirected to the muscles in your legs, etc. Your brain focuses on really innate processes, such as remembering things from the past. How did you get away from that lion in the past? Can I make it over this wall? Once you make it over the wall, maybe you clamber up a tree, you're safe, and you see that the lion walks off into the distance. Usually those physiological processes are neurologically coordinated to go back to a resting state. You reach homeostasis as to how you were before you walked out of the practice, and everything's back to normal. And that's how the stress response should happen, and should really only last a matter of minutes. Instinct is instant and gone. Emotions usually last a few minutes. The problem with our society, as it has become more and more complex, is that although we don't have life-threatening lion situations every single moment of the day, we have lots of little things that are stimulating the same stress response. So we have deadlines at work, we have a sudden bill that we wasn't expecting, or a parking fine or a speeding fine. We have problems with relationships which are much more complex than our ancestors would have experienced. We have traffic jams, we have so many different facets to our lives that cause our bodies to go into a stress response. Now, perhaps not as extremely as a lion appearing, but it's a constant level. So we never actually drop down to that homeostasis level. We're always here. And we call this the allostatic load. So this is normal. This is kind of the amount of pressure that you're experiencing. And there will be a point at which you start to go from what we call dis-ease, which means you're feeling uncomfortable. There's something that your body's having to deal with, to disease. And we often are flirting around that level where our bodies are having to cope and adapt, but they're not necessarily going into a full-blown disease state. Examples are a diabetes. A lot of people are in a pre-diabetic state, and that means that they can go back to normal, but it's how long you're at that state for and how severely that can actually create the point at which your body can't cope with the demands and it starts to break down. And so the reason this is relevant to your chiropractic sessions with Camilla and indeed myself is dependent on what we find during your testing and your sessions. We might need to do a very physical session, so it would be your chiropractic adjustments, and it's a very neurophysiological hands-on adjustment. Other times we might need to look nutritionally because we're feeling that the testing for you might actually be coming in for say a pain. But pain is another stress. Nociception or pain stimulation is a stress. So we need to find why that's happening. And it could be because there's something not moving in your body. And if there's a joint that's not moving properly, there's no proprioception, which is movement reception. And movement reception is what balances back down nociception. So we get things moving again, your body comes back into balance. There's no reason for pain to be there. Pain is just a signal saying, stop, something's wrong, change something. But that something might be on an emotional level, might be mental. It might be that you've got too much sugar in your diet, which is toxic to the body, creating a stress response. That stress response causes increased tension, and that's why you've got neck pain. Or you might be dehydrated, you might be deficient in zinc, and that's why you're getting your headaches, etc. So we're looking at things very holistically, and it might seem like we're often going off on real tangents, but it's so that you can actually come back to this state of balance and homeostasis. And hopefully that's shed a little bit of light on what stress truly is and how chiropractors are really the holistic practitioners, and I hope that I can really share with you some of my skills and experience and passion on these subjects. And I look forward to meeting you all sometime very soon.